G'day there guys, J-Mick is just Markee 2.0, a more improved and refined and sexier version than me, and you know it. Welcome back to another episode of r/AmiTheA. It's your host Markee 1.0. If you enjoyed today's stories, please do tell me what you think about it down in the comments below, and I have nothing else to say, so just enjoy the episode. Posted by user Telephone Difficult 65, titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my friend, who thinks he's God's gift to women, that he's not qualified to give dating advice because he ended up with a 35-year-old single mum? Look, I'm still in touch with a few of my former high school classmates. We are in our late 20s, and there's this one guy, Luke, who thinks he's a bit of a player because he used to sleep around a lot. Mostly quantity over quality, up until last year. He's now in a relationship, so he stopped having bonk buddies and hooking up, but he's not shy to talk about his glory days. Anyway, we had a get-together on Friday, and another one of my friends, Harry, was telling us how he has some issues with the woman that he's seeing. So Luke thought it fell on him to educate Harry and impart his wisdom. He started going on about how Harry's girlfriend is only acting out because he's not playing the field at all, and all that he needs to do is make her aware that he has other options besides her. We all kinda thought he was joking at first, but it soon became clear he was serious. So Harry told him he's not interested in doing that and to grow up. Luke insisted and told Harry that nothing drives women more than competition, so even if he doesn't have anything else going on, he should still let her think that he does, just to make her jealous a bit. Harry told him to cut it out and that he's not qualified to give dating advice anyway. He laughed and said that if anyone knows what he's talking about in this table, it's him, because he's the most experienced of all of us, which is technically true. I had started getting annoyed at Luke too, so I jumped in at that point and told him that if he really knew what he was talking about, then he wouldn't have ended up dating a 35-year-old with a toddler for his first serious relationship. Everyone else laughed, but Luke didn't find it funny at all, and asked me what the F did I mean by that. So, I told him that if he's such an authority on dating, then he could probably do better. He said that he's perfectly happy with his partner, and told me to stay in my lane. I told him to take his own advice and to stop offering his opinion when no one asked for it. Things were a bit tense after that, but we moved on from the subject. Still, was I the a-hole for piling on? I know it was a low blow, but I had enough of him thinking that he's some kind of relationship guru. That really is a low blow to say that one. It's kind of really rude to say that. There's a lot of people that will agree with you there, and there is a lot that will disagree with you, but I personally wouldn't do that myself. I think you don't know the woman that he's dating, and I think that you know that he's stupid. That's all that you have to go off of. So yeah, you were the a-hole for piling on and saying that he sucks at dating and with this, that, and the other just because he chose to date a single mother. I'm sorry you may feel that way, but definitely saying it out loud is an a-hole move. He obviously sucks here because he's saying all of this crap and just spouting nonsense. So both of you are the a-holes in this situation. Everyone sucks here. Everyone sucks here. He's obnoxious for being a know-it-all and giving what is, to be honest, terrible dating advice. You are awful for implying there's something wrong with being and dating a 35-year-old single mum. I mean, what the hell? Yeah, I kinda wanted to tell OP to screw himself. I met my boyfriend at 31 with 2 young kids, and he was 26. If someone were to talk down to me and insinuate that there was something wrong with me because I had kids, they'd be hurting pretty bad. Also, what's with that quantity over quality line all about? Either OP is shallow AF, assuming he means that the women this guy was hooking up with weren't as attractive, and that means they are lesser humans, or he's just being all sour grapes. I took it to mean Luke wasn't interested in actually making connections with women and slept with any women who would have him, in the interest of getting his dick wet. It sounds a bit slur-shamey, but having a high body count does not qualify him to give advice on serious relationships. It's like a pianist giving a flautist advice. They both require their own skills and talents, which overlap some, but overall are very different. And judging from Luke's disgusting comments about jealousy and playing the field, it really does sound like he embraced the pickup artist mentality. Anybody who would recommend manipulating a partner is pretty scummy, and OP is an a-hole for talking down about the 35-year-old in the way that he did, so it's still an everyone sucks here. I don't think you are familiar with red-pilled a-holes. What Luke was saying about playing the field is a common emotional abuse tactic that those guys use. I wouldn't be surprised if he identified with that group. Guys like that crap on single mothers more than anyone else. Ending up with a single mum is basically a horror story that they tell each other. It's possible OP was trying to tell Luke he lost at his own crappy game and not trying to say single mums aren't worth being with. Posted by user Am I the A-hole throwaway KB? Titled, Am I the A-hole for firing a pregnant employee? Hello, I, 38 female, own a gym. I have 5 instructors who work for me, as well as myself and my boyfriend who instruct classes. There was one employee, Erica, who told me that she was pregnant but that she wanted to continue instructing classes for as long as possible. She, like all of my other employees, are not full-time employees. They get paid per class. Erica has a full-time job as a preschool teacher, and she originally would come here after work 4 times a week to teach 2 classes a night, as well as Saturday mornings, and sometimes Sundays depending on need. All classes are about an hour and a half. I expect my employees to get here 15 minutes before the class starts and stay 15 minutes after at least. They are paid $20 per class. Early on, Erica told me that she was going to be dropping one of her Thursday classes, which began at 7:30. Her reasoning was that it ended too late. She said that after class and cleaning the gym, the last class of the night needs to clean and close up the gym, she wasn't getting out until about 9 to 9:15, and she was too tired. I allowed her to drop the class, but since this was her assigned shift, I couldn't find anyone else to agree to cover it. And because of this, I had to take over her class, meaning I was the one at the gym from open until close. The next incident happened a few months later. While instructing, it is policy for our instructors to wear a shirt with either the name of our gym on it or just plain black. I came into the gym while Erica was instructing to find her wearing an olive green tank top. I pulled her aside and reminded her to please wear a shirt with the gym's logo on it. She responded that none of them that she had fit over her belly anymore. I did not believe this. I had seen her wearing shirts that she had been wearing pre-pregnancy at this point, but all I told her was that she could also wear a plain black shirt, to which she replied, a little annoyed, that this was the only shirt she had available at the moment, and she thought dark green would be close enough to black. I told her no. If our policy was black or dark green, I would have told her that, and it wasn't a surprise that she would be teaching a class that day, so she should have been prepared. I could tell she was annoyed by this, and the rest of her class, her energy was definitely off. The last straw happened a few weeks after that. I got a text from a member at 5:55. Class began at 6, that nobody was at the gym and she couldn't get in. I called Erica to see where she was, and she said that she was running late and that she'd be there in 10 minutes. Since I expected my employees to be there 15 minutes early, this would make her 25 minutes late. I told her not to bother, that if she was going to continue to let her performance slip, there was no need for her to continue working for us. Was I the a-hole? Adding, this all happened before the pandemic. Now to everyone commenting on my employees' wages, they agree to this pay. I am upfront and honest about their pay and what is expected of them. It's not as though she didn't know how much she was going to get paid when she began working here. To everyone saying they hope my business goes under, my employees are going to quit, etc., I have owned my gym longer than some of you trolls messaging me to KYS or calling me a C-word have been alive. My gym is doing wonderfully. With the exception of Erica, I have had the same employees working for me for years. Some of them work at other gyms as well, and despite all of your rages that I'm a slave driver, they continue to work for me, happily. This incident happened before the pandemic, over 6 months ago. I mean, you're free to do whatever you want, and I feel like you should understand that she's full-time at a kindergarten and she's going here when she has the time to do it. I don't see how her dropping Thursday classes was an incident. That's her asking if she could drop it because she can't do it. I get that she signed on and, it annoys you that you couldn't find a replacement in time, but that's kind of just life, isn't it? I don't feel like you should be punishing her for that. Second incident, I get that she's an adult and that adults need to prepare ahead of time. Same as the third incident, obviously, but if it's just the one time with a shirt and she comes in with a black shirt next time, surely you could write that off as a non-incident. It just happened this one time and she fixed it. It kind of sounds like you have a personal vendetta against Erica. It seems like you were using these as scapegoat issues, and she was late this one time and you say, God, you're such a nuisance, you're such a problem. At the end of the day, it's your business to run, you do whatever the hell you want, but it doesn't sound like you are being genuine in these reasons, and you're an a-hole for doing that in my opinion. Full stop. You pay them $20 for 1.75 hours of work and have that high expectations? You're the a-hole for sure. Actually, it's 2 hours of work, because they arrive 15 minutes early and stay 15 minutes after teaching a 1.5 hour class, so $10 an hour. Edit, and those teaching the last class of the day have to clean up. Very true. What a scam. How much are people paying to attend those classes? Seems like OP is making quite the profit. Where I am, exercise classes are easily $20 to $40 per class, and I don't even live in an expensive city. You're the a-hole, and firing the employee is way far down your list of offenses. You're the a-hole for paying $10 an hour for people to teach classes at your gym. Seriously, that's just above minimum wage. Not a living wage, and you also expect the last instructor of the night to clean those things up? I'm amazed you have instructors. Being totally inflexible in dress code policies, to the point of interrupting a class over them. Would it so much kill you if an instructor wore a blue shirt one time? Could you not wait until the class was over? What problem does olive green cause for your business exactly? If you want people to wear a uniform, you need to provide it, and you need to make sure that it comes in acceptable sizes, and even then, you need to consider some flexibility, like letting the person teaching hot yoga strip down to a tank top, or accepting that, especially given that your instructors are underpaid as hell, they will sometimes run into laundry issues. And also, relying on instructors who you pay crap to make sure the gym is open. Sometimes an employee does not work out and you let someone go. But gyms require personnel to run, and you, as the owner of said gym, might want to reconsider some of your choices. Also ridiculous, OP holds it against her that she can't find another employee for the Thursday class, resulting in OP working a long day. Maybe OP should analyze why no one wants to work there instead of taking it out on a current employer who reasonably wants to cut their hours. Exactly right. And honestly, if OP had to work a long day, well guess what? It's your business, and plenty of business owners have to work nearly 24/7 sometimes to make things work. It comes with the territory. Suck it up. Everything about this post is just horrible. Erica is well shot of this whole scene. Posted by user NDC1257, titled, Am I the a-hole for having my husband out of the delivery room when he brought his mother instead of mine? This happened a few weeks ago when I delivered my son. We had an agreement before that my husband would be by my side during the delivery. When the moment comes, I suddenly had a change of mind and started to miss my mother desperately, as if I would never see her again. I knew she had lessons that day but wanted her by my side, so I asked my husband to call and drive her here. When my husband came back maybe an hour later, he came back with his mother, not mine. He explained that my mother was in the middle of a lecture and he was afraid that they could not make it in time before she sums it up, so he drove his own mother, who lived nearer, instead. I got angry and started wailing uncontrollably, crying for my mother like a child. The nurses ended up removing him, and I had no family beside me during the whole unpleasant process. I continued to cry even after seeing my son, and only stopped when my mother finally arrived much later. According to her, my husband did not call her. Instead, left her a message, and she only saw it after dismissal. Now, thinking back, that was extremely embarrassing, and I had no idea how I lost it like that. I feel sorry that he was not able to witness the process because of my last-minute change of mind. It was supposed to be just me and him, and he expressed his disappointment too. However, I am also angry that he did not bother to make an effort to let me see my mother when I felt I needed her, and instead took this chance to bring his own mother. I guess both of us feel betrayed to some extent, but which one of us is the a-hole? I want to know. I'ma be real with you, Chief. He's the a-hole. He went and got his own mother when you made it expressly clear that you needed your mother, and he should know that in this pregnancy, people can make concessions for these kinds of things, and I'm sure your mother would not have minded coming out of her lecture early to come see the birth of her grandchild. I'm sorry, but what he did was just so stupid. It's just so stupid that he brought his own mother. It's not the same. He should know it's not the same, and judging by your reaction at the time, obviously this is a huge moment for you, and, emotions are going to flare. Things like this are going to happen if that expectation isn't met. I can't blame you for reacting like that. You were under duress, and you were giving birth, and it is what it is. He's the a-hole for this mistake, but I hope you guys can move past it. Not the a-hole. Hun, you were in labor. Of course your feelings are going to be amplified. I would have reacted the same as you if my husband brought his mum instead of mine. Also, congratulations on your newborn. I wouldn't have reacted the same. The nurse wouldn't have needed to remove them. They would have run when I started throwing things at them. Labor is such an effing vulnerable time. You do whatever you need to get through that moment, and his job was to also do whatever you, the person in pain, needed. He should be ashamed, not you. You did a great job welcoming your son into the world. Cuddle him and focus on that pure joy, not the a-hole. Hell, if my girlfriend was in labor and needed me to go fetch her mother figure, I'd drive the 6 hours at a moment's notice. I'm not even close to my mother, but it's the one time I needed her. No one can understand what I was going through like her. It's kind of like this was the last moment I would be simply her child. Every day since, I am someone's mother, and she can never be there just for me like she was before. Her advice and support is now forever tempered with the fact that I have my own kids to support. It's hard to explain, but that was what I knew at that moment. It's not exactly rational, and I would have lost my crap the same way. I was induced, and I finally went into labor at 4 a.m. My parents didn't get there until 6 a.m., but I was so scared and alone without my mother, and it reminds me of why I should make an effort to fix things with her. I was close to the no a-holes here, but the fact that he didn't try harder to get her mother is the part that I can't get past, especially after stalking Just No Mother-in-Law for so long. There is no mother-in-law I have ever had in my life that I would want supporting me in place of my mother. Not the a-hole, and grats on the bubs. Posted by user Throwaway Sell House, titled, Am I the a-hole for not letting a family buy our home? My husband and I are selling our house, and we were touring a woman and her husband who were getting ready to start a family. They offered a full cash offer, and it was right at what we were selling the house for. However, they were talking about making so many renovations. For example, the wife looked in the kitchen and said, I wish there was an island in here, but we can figure that out. There were 2 smaller bedrooms in the home right next to each other, and she talked about knocking the wall down to make one big room. The whole time I felt upset because this was the home my parents built and my kids grew up in, and I made sure to never make significant changes because I did not want to destroy their hard work. When they were leaving, I said we'll keep in touch. So I called the couple later that night and told them we'll be moving on to a different buyer. I told my husband that I'm not interested in them purchasing our home. He thought I was joking until I explained my reasoning. He said I was too attached to this house, and that if I was going to have so many specifications on the buyer, then he was going to choose himself. He called the couple back today, and they said they found a new house, but to thank the both of us. He was livid. He started going off about how it's taken so long for us to find someone to actually pay the full price, especially with a full cash offer. But now we are either going to have to settle or wait forever to get a buyer like that. I told him no amount of money is going to make me okay with the destruction of my childhood home. Now he's angry and won't talk to me unless he absolutely has to. Am I the a-hole? Look, you have to let go of your childhood at one point or another, and it's unfortunate that people do want to make renovations and changes, and it's going to completely destroy the idea of your childhood home. But you're a grown-ass adult. You have to move forward in life. If you're moving out of this house and you're not living here forever, and you have to sell the home and it's taken this long to do it, you have to let go. And you're the a-hole for continuing to hold on and turn down that family, especially after all the hard work you and your husband have put into selling it. And, I can imagine his frustration for this one. I don't imagine this is a deal breaker in marriages. I don't imagine it's too big of a deal. It just is delaying a process unnecessarily. And I think for that, you're an a-hole. So yeah, you're the a-hole. That was a really stupid thing to do, especially without consulting your husband first. Just because you sell the house doesn't mean you lose the memories in it. Also, once it's sold, you will never be going back, so you won't ever see what they do. Whoever buys it will likely still renovate, so turning down a full cash offer at asking is incredibly dumb. Yeah, you're the a-hole. I mean, I get the feeling. I donated some of my old books and had to watch the people glance at the box and throw them roughly in a bin instead of stacking them with the good donations. That really sucked, and I wish I hadn't donated them at all. My hope was for them to go to someone who would enjoy them as much as I did, just without cluttering up my house. But when you make the choice to sell, or donate in my case, the house is theirs, and you can't make sentimental choices after the fact. If you wanted to rent, sure, you can have stipulations, but here, your knee-jerk reaction was only that, and you're not going to find a buyer who will accept not changing anything. You tried to control too much. It's okay to feel what you felt, no a-holes here, but not to act on it the way you did. You're the a-hole. And it ended up impacting your and your husband's long efforts in finding a buyer and likely your finances, since you might not find someone else to buy at the same price. Let hubby handle the sales now if it's too much for you, or rent the house with stipulations. And in the future, discuss before making unilateral decisions like this. Okay, and I think that's where we're going to end today's episode, guys. As always, I do hope you enjoyed it, and maybe even learned something from these stories. Just want to say a quick shout out to my Patreon subscribers and my channel members. You guys should be on the screen right now. If you do see yourself, I want you to give yourself a little pat on the back for being amazing and supporting me on this channel, this little journey we're going on the YouTubes. I really appreciate it, and you guys enable me to do all this amazing work. So if you do see yourself, I love your face and I'm happy to see you. Also guys, if you want to pitch in your own support, you don't have to, but channel links are down in the description below to support the Patreon, the channel membership, whatever you want to do. It's kind of like tipping me if you feel like I'm doing a good job on this channel. I will be opening up avenues for content on those in the future. Just right now I'm kind of bogged down and stuck in Ireland, but it is what it is. Anyway, guys, with that said, I do hope you have a wonderful day today. Whatever you're up to, I'd love to know down in the comments below. I do hope you have a good day, night, sleep. Whatever you're up to today, tell me, and I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Bye.